To our third speaker, Professor Rick. Take a round of applause, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, let me thank all the partners who were involved in organizing this great event. So I appreciate it very much, and I'm looking forward to further cooperation and future projects together. We saw two presentations of Professor Flores and Professor Bart, which are very practical solutions to address some of the problems here in Cebu and other places in the world. I will discuss more the governance approach, some methodologies I would like to discuss. Maybe some of them you already heard, but I think we can to explain. Actually, what we signed this morning was a living lab on water. So the idea of this documents that we signed was to collaborate on water management together, to involve students and to involve different stakeholders and partners, and I will discuss that now with you. So the challenges, for those of you who are not here this morning, the students worked on 5 challenges, which were water quality, macro pollution, micro pollution, sedimentation, water quality and flood management, and floating gardens. And these are all the partners who were involved in this event. Well, there are some what we call wicked problems. We saw them here in the Philippines, but in our own country we also have some wicked problems that we cannot, very hard to solve. Now, one of them is the waste issue here in Cebu, as you all know. One of them is the pollution of the rivers. As you know, we also had it in Amsterdam. I live in Rotterdam, and in the 1970s the whole river was polluted. You could not swim in it, and it was not safe to eat a fish from that river. So we also had the same problems as you have here now today. Another one, very difficult problem to tackle, sedimentation in the Burisan Dam reservoir. So these problems, it's very hard to tackle. A mayor or a government agency, they cannot solve it because it's very costly. You need specific knowledge, you need specific techniques that maybe you don't have. You don't have the budget, you don't have the knowledge to address these issues. So how can we solve them? So one possibility is to form a community of practice. So you bring together partners. You identify the domain. So what is actually the main problem of the issue? Because when you discuss about, for example, the waste management, then you get social problems, you get technical problems, you get chemical problems. So there are lots of different aspects of each problem, which makes them very wicked. You identify the community, which stakeholders are involved, and then you identify the practitioners who are actually really involved. What is the practice that they share in this problem? It's called what we call a community of practice. There are some benefits, because if you have identified that community of practice, and you know as an expert or as a professor, you know that you're part of the community of practice, and you name it a community of practice, so you feel your work is meaningful, and you want to work together with your partners. A community of practice, it can be the university, it can be local government units, it can be NGOs. So all of them participate in the same problem, and together they form a community. And you can share your experiences, you can share your knowledge, you can pour in resources, like what we did here this week. Actually, we form a community of practice because I'm a professor of water management, so are my colleagues. Then we work together with the University of San Carlos, civil engineering, chemical engineering, work together with the local government of Cebu City. So these are all, we work together with RAFI, a non-government organization. So these are all stakeholders, and together we form actually a community of practice. So actually it's very important to combine the business sector, the academia, and the government, because you have the political context. It's the local government who makes the policies, but they of course they need knowledge, and the knowledge comes from the academia, from the university. They also need finances, and often the private sector, they can contribute because they make profit, and maybe they can have this CSR policies, or maybe also if you identify how they can benefit, what is the business case, maybe they can also participate, and they can also invest time and resources to solve the issue. In addition, you can also add the NGOs, the communities, to support the that's what we call quadruple helix. So you work together with all the partners, you bring in resources, you bring in knowledge, and you share. So you not wait for each other and blame each other and nothing happens, but you bring each other together, maybe you meet regularly, you identify the issues, and you start working on it. For example, in my university, I work closely together with the city of Rotterdam. So the the city of Rotterdam sometimes brings in, Rick, your students, can they solve this problem? And of course, then I introduce them, I bring it into my curriculum, or I bring it in a 10 weeks project, and together with the students, with the local government, we're going to work on that specific issue. And that's a way how you can tap knowledge as a local government unit from the academe. So together, you work together with different partners to solve that issue at hand. Now, for companies, it's very interesting to participate, because in many countries there's a big gap between the fresh graduates and actually what a company needs. But if you integrate issues from the private sector into your curriculum, into your projects that you do at the university, and then actually the private sector can already pick maybe candidates to do their internship at a company. It's also interesting for there's also a benefit, it's not working. Yeah. There's also a benefit for the governments, because they want to implement policies, maybe they need additional research, for example, water quality measuring, or they have to construct floating islands. So very interesting for students, and they learn a lot when they participate in those kind of projects and events. Now, I will not read everything, but you understand what I mean with this. So I observed here, this week we're here together. We worked with the government, the city of Mandawi, city of Cebu, with the community, the non-government organization, RAFI, and we also worked closely together with the University of San Carlos. But actually what I missed was the private sector involvement. So maybe it can be an improvement for the future to also involve private sector in this activity. Now, what is currently missing, because my first time in the Philippines was in 1999, or 1996, I should say, so I know the Philippines quite well. I've been to Davao and Manila, and I lived 4 years in Cebu, so I know a little bit about the Philippines. And what we observed from all these projects that we did here and collaborations with different partners is the lack of private sector involvement. Because always, many times, the local government come to us and, oh, we have to solve that issue, what we can do. But a lot of, they're always lacking financial means, of course. But the private sector is also a source of funding. So as soon as you have a business case, or maybe there are other benefits for the private sector to get involved, they're willing to participate, because they're also looking for new recruitments to work in their company. So if they have access to students, and they are willing to participate. A lack of specific expertise that we saw here in the wicked problems. Maybe those expertise is also maybe at the academe. Maybe you can also work together with international universities or NGOs that have this knowledge. A lack of leadership, ownership. So what I mean with that is usually you need a strong leader who is identified, who is associated with a specific problem at hand. For example, the Mandawi River, or the Buhisan Dam sedimentation. So you need one person who is the face of this project, and you always see that person again and again. And the person has a kind of support, social and political support, and he is able to address that problem. So he can bring together resources, knowledge. He can bring together people together. Step by step, he can solve that problem. And it's also very interesting case studies for students to work on. and also a lack of collaboration with international partners. When I was with Professor Flores last year in Romania, and they approached us. Oh, we have this problem with dams and sedimentation. And then last year I visited Professor Bart in Taiwan, and some people told me, oh, we have this problem with dams and sedimentation. So there are a lot of practitioners all around the world who have the same problem. So you cannot solve that problem here, maybe here in Cebu City, but you should link up with maybe universities or local governments in other countries to address that issue. But because lots of the problems that you have here, they're already addressed in other countries, in other cities. So if you have Mr. Alvin Diesen is also the international linkages coordinator of the city of Cebu. So maybe you can also tap universities in these partner cities to work together on these wicked problems. So what we call a living lab, that will be signed here this morning. So it's a bilateral network of knowledge institutes. It's focusing on innovation and co-creation in specific sectors, like what we did here today. We had the 5 case studies. So we did now it only for 1 week, but maybe we can extend it for a longer period. We can identify different problems that we would like to solve here in Cebu City, and maybe aside from Rotterdam University, we can find other partners who would like to participate to address these problems and to participate maybe in a new pressure cooker event, maybe in November. We can also invite other universities or other NGOs to participate. Okay. So it's all about knowledge dissemination, because there's not one partner who has all the knowledge, who has all the budget, who can solve all the problems. So you always have to work together with different partners and share expertise and bring in resources from all the partners involved. Okay. So it's also new, at our university, it's a new way how we want to enhance our education system. Because my director says, okay, we want what we call an context-rich learning environment. So you don't want me to teach from the books, but you want me to bring in real case studies. And actually what we did here this week, it's already in my lectures, it's already in my project. Students, they already know maybe about the Cebu City case study, about the pollution of the rivers, and they already looked at it. So it's very important in my lectures that I inform them about these issues all around the world, and I bring it in my lectures. For example, we are here together with Professor Damon. Last year we decided we have an elective course. It's called Plastic Soup, and the case study was Cebu City, and we used newspaper articles in our lectures. And I asked them, okay, develop a business case for Cebu City, how we can solve this waste problem here in Cebu City. And our students that are now here, some of them are also attending that plastic soup elective subjects because they are interested to come here to see the problems. So that's how we make our lectures and modules context rich. Okay, now that's actually a summary. Real life challenges and wicked problems, how you can address them. So you should identify a specific domain, also identify a leader or the phase of the project, person who can bring together resources and other stakeholders, bring in the private sector, the public sector, and the academe, and also invite international comparative cases, bring in international experts or work together with them, or you can have a joint module that you work together online with students in other parts of the world. So there are different new forms of collaboration with universities and local government units. And finally, hopefully it will reach to new innovation. It will lead to startup companies who can solve these wicked problems that we have here and need to be solved. So what we want to do now in the coming years, first of all, we hope to participate in the River Summit in Mandaue, which is next year in November. Then hopefully we can again organize a 2 weeks pressure cooker event together with the University of San Carlos and stakeholders here in Cebu. I already drafted a proposal for Erasmus Plus grant, which is for the student and staff mobility. So that also students from the University of San Carlos can also visit Rotterdam, enjoy one of our minor programs. We can have a staff exchange. We also would like to have more pressure cooker events in the future in Cebu. And Professor Flores, he's working on a Q1 grant for small projects, maybe related to floating housing or plastic, which Professor Damon will discuss later. Okay, in the meantime, in Cebu, so I think it would be good to strengthen the quadruple helix. I work together, University of San Carlos, work together with the local government units, use the case studies that we visited, the Naiwan dump site, the collection process, the sedimentation in the Buisan Dam, and maybe you can also organize a pressure cooker with your own students. Maybe you can identify solutions how to address the issues that you have here. Okay, that's what I would like to share with you. Thank you very much.